Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into today's second video doing the ECMWF 30-day look ahead for today's second video for the UK and rest of Europe too. So we're going to have a look at temperature and precipitation anomalies for the next 4 weeks for UK and for Europe as well. We can't show mean sea level pressure or 500 millibar heights with this, but we can show you temperature and precipitation anomalies. And you can get a rough idea really what the overall pattern is likely to be doing from these temperature and precipitation anomalies. So it's going to take us into the second half of July. We can actually extend to weeks 5 and 6 as well with these charts from Copernicus. We can go 6 weeks out, but we're going to stop at week 4 for this video. You'll be able to see the week 5 and 6 temperature and rainfall anomalies in the live stream tomorrow evening from 6 o'clock. We'll have a live stream and we'll show you the weeks 5 and 6 temperature and precipitation anomalies. And that's going to take us into early August, of course. But for this one, we're going to start at week 4. We're at the Copernicus.eu website, so thank you to them for supplying us with these charts, and I'll get on it for you very shortly. Just to say that we've already released a video today, so the first season model roundup for the autumn of 2020 was the first video up to date. Delay from Sunday. I had to push it back a couple of days because I was a little bit poorly over the weekend with one of my teeth playing up. But it's quite a bit better now. And thank you to all of you for all of your kind comments and queries about how I'm doing. And also tips about what I can do for my teeth as well. So thank you to all of you for that. So yeah, that's the first video up. I'll get that on the autumn updates page. Hopefully tonight with written summary. If not tonight, it'll be tomorrow. After this video, we're going to have a regular 10 to 14 day update with all of the usual features. Okay, let's do it then. So I'm going to start off with the week 1 temperature anomaly. It's going to take us from the 29th of June through to the 5th of July. And we see quite a sort of northwest-southeast split across Europe this week. So temperature anomalies are looking significantly cool on average, actually, across the north and the west of Europe, anywhere from France up to Scandinavia, and it does include the UK as well, coming out with below average temperatures this week, and quite significantly so actually some central parts of Scandinavia, where it has been so very hot over the past few weeks as well. This is a real change. Some central parts of Scandinavia, like Norway over to Sweden, they're kind of like 3 to 4 degrees, maybe a bit more, below average, so very substantially below average Scandinavia. Either the UK coming out around 1 to 2 degrees below average as well, which is France coming out around 1 to 3 degrees below average. So it really is a cool scene in the north and west of Europe. Conversely, on the eastern side of Europe, it is much, much hotter on this eastern side of Europe. So from Italy over the Adriatic into the Balkans, and then particularly towards the Black Sea, it becomes much hotter through there. And going northwards up the eastern side of Europe through like Ukraine into western Russia, we've got temperatures widely around 3 to 4, possibly in 1 or 2 places 5 degrees above average. So it's a hot scene in the east of the southeast, including the southeast and Med, by the way. Greece and Turkey also looking pretty hot. Hot scene in the east and the south, cool scene though in the north and the northwest. Through the Mediterranean, generally quite a warmish scene actually this week. We've got much of central southern Spain looking quite hot. The central basin of the Mediterranean near normal to a little bit above average. Italy looks very warm, and then it gets hotter still as we go down in towards Greece and Turkey, the southeastern part of the Med. This is the week 1 precipitation anomaly. Again, this takes us from the 29th of June through to the 5th of July. Not only cool this week across northern and northwestern Europe, also very unsettled as well. Significantly wetter than average, really from the Baltic Sea and northeastern parts of Europe, right way over to Ireland and the UK, including Scandinavia, also the Low Countries as well, Denmark. Yes, wetter than average through there. So you can see where the low pressure is going to be coming through this week. We're going to be having low pressure coming in rather like that across the northern parts of Europe. Now, further south, it is drier through France and down to Spain and Portugal, so we do still have influence from the Azores High through here. But it is probably displaced a little bit further south than its normal midsummer position. This eastern side of Europe also looking rather wetter than average, away from the Black Sea anyway. And that's a different kind of unsettled weather. I think that's like thunderstorms that we'll have through here. Where it's hot, I think we'll also have a lot of thunderstorms through here around the Balkans and then going up towards the southwestern part of Russia. Notice substantially drier than average around Iceland too. That's indicative of a little bit of northern blocking, I think. Got high pressure within the northern latitudes. That's forcing the low pressure and the jet stream that bit further southwards. Of course, you here we've also got a ridge over in the eastern southeastern part of Europe. That's what's dragging up those hot southerly winds on the eastern side of Europe, but will also be producing thunderstorms probably. Through the Mediterranean, near normal to a little bit drier than average through the western part of Mediterranean, and then let's go in southeastern Med through Greece and Turkey around a little bit drier than average through there really. Week 2 temperature anomalies from the 6th through to 12th of July look like that. So again, it's quite a cool scene really across many northern parts of Europe. Let's deal with Northern Europe first. We've also got Ireland, the UK, and most of Scandinavia looking colder than average as well, or certainly cooler than average. A little bit warmer down in the southeastern corner, perhaps. Eastern parts of Europe also cooling down. So these cool temperatures got this week in the northwest get pushed towards the eastern side of Europe as we go into week 2. Although the extreme east and southeast Europe actually looking very hot through here around the Black Sea and going up to southwestern parts of Russia. Very, very hot through there. Temperatures around 5 to 6 degrees above average. Also warming up across France, Spain and Portugal, going warmer than average through there, quite substantially so. So we have got hot air trying to push northwards here across the western side of Europe, but struggling to make it into Ireland, Scandinavia and the United Kingdom as well. In the Mediterranean, it's hotter than average on this western side of the Med, from Spain and Portugal over towards the Balearic Islands, but in the southeastern Med, it is a little bit cooler than average through there, like from Italy over the Adriatic, particularly to the Balkans, and then down to Greece and Turkey, coming out cooler than average through there. Precipitation wise for week 2 from 6th through to 12th of July, looking drier in the northwest, so we're losing the most unsettled of the weather. Norway is a little bit wetter than average, but otherwise Scandinavia is drying out, and many parts of Western Europe also drying out, from like Germany back to Ireland and the UK. So high pressure looks like it should be starting to push northwards. That will be bringing that hot air, of course, in towards France. So yes, we see high pressure beginning to push northwards from the Azores across this western side of Europe. Low pressure is likely to be through here around the Balkans, and then going out towards the Black Sea, down towards Greece and Turkey, and also affect some parts of Italy. So low pressure through there, essentially where it's wettest in this southeastern corner. Heights rising, higher pressure through here, but it does keep most of Scandinavia and the UK and Ireland still with westerly winds, so hotter across France, Spain and Portugal, but further northwards we're still in those relatively cool westerly winds for the 6th through to 12th of July. Week 3 temperature anomalies from the 13th through to the 19th of July. Let's just check that's right. Yes, 13th, 19th of July look like this. Still cooler than average on the eastern side of Europe. So again, this east part of Europe looking cooler than average through here. And then we've got France, Spain, Portugal, and into western part of the Mediterranean, warmer than average. Ireland, UK, much of Scandinavia, still hinting at being a little bit below average with temperature anomalies. It's less so than it is earlier in July, but still a little bit on the lowly side, really, with the temperature still a little bit on the stingy side in this northwestern corner. And over in the extreme eastern part of Europe, again around the Black Sea and at the southwestern parts of Russia, it's warmer than average through there. Mediterranean-wise, a bit of an east-west split, really, from around Corsica and Sardinia westwards. It's warmer than average, hotter than average through the western part of Med, from like Corsica, Sardinia and Italy eastwards over to Greece and Turkey. It's cooler than average, but of course it's still midsummer in Mediterranean, so even if it's a couple of degrees below average in Greece, it will still be pretty hot. Precipitation anomalies are looking like this for week 3, 13th to the 19th of July. Drier again across the northwest. So I'm a little bit unsure why the temperature anomaly is so poor in the northwest, really, because it looks as though high pressure increasingly influential here through France, through Ireland, through the UK, up towards Scandinavia. It looks like the Azores High is increasingly in the ascendancy here. So I'm a little bit unsure why the temperature anomaly is so disappointing. You would think by this point low pressure is being pushed up to here with the jet stream, so we should be on the warm side of the jet by this point. All I can think is that the model has the high pressure just generally centred a little bit to the west, which keeps the wind in from off the Atlantic, but it probably wouldn't take that much of an adjustment actually to bring much warmer weather to the north and the west of Europe. If it's going significantly drier than average in the middle of summer, we must be under an area of high pressure, I would have thought. And yeah, so that could be a warmer week, I think. By the time we get through to the middle of July, that could be quite a lot warmer. On the eastern side of Europe, looking wetter than average through there, like this eastern and southeastern corners, quite significantly wetter than average through there. In the Mediterranean, so there's plenty of low pressure through there, probably lots of thunderstorms. In Mediterranean, again, a bit of an east-west split, near normal with temperature, with precipitation anomalies, I should say, in the west. Over on the eastern side of Europe, of the Mediterranean, though, it's a little bit wetter than average. And then finally, week 4 is going to take us from the 20th to the 26th of July, so almost towards month's end. Looking warmer in the north and in the west of Europe, although for Ireland and the UK, the temperature anomaly continues to be rather disappointing. But I think over time it is becoming warmer generally in the north and also in the west of Europe here. As we go into the 26th of July. The east and southeastern part of Europe looking a little bit cooler than average. Through the Mediterranean, quite warm in the western part of the Med, a little bit cooler over on the eastern part of the Mediterranean. And finally, precipitation anomalies for the 26th of July look like this. It does again hint at high pressure dominating in the north and west, so it is quite substantially drier than average for Ireland and the UK. There must be high pressure through here. Maybe going a little bit more in South Scandinavia, possibly a bit thundery for some parts of Scandinavia. Perhaps, and then just varying from area to area. But I think the overall idea is probably drier to the north and west with higher pressure through here and lower pressure continuing to be through here, perhaps. Maybe producing a few sort of thunderstorms. Mediterranean-wise, average precipitation in the west part of the Med, possibly hinting at being a little bit drier than average in the southeastern corner of the Mediterranean. Whoops, I shouldn't have gone in that far. There we go. Let's pull back out. Okay, so there we go. It looks like we've definitely got a cool and cool and unsettled start to July, definitely for the northwest of Europe, which we knew anyway. We've been seeing it in the shorter range model output. So cool and unsettled to start us off. I think the trend is increasingly towards higher pressure here for the north and the west of Europe as we go further on into July. So similar in some ways to what's happened in June, perhaps, which started off quite unsettled and then gradually progressed towards higher pressure. The temperature anomalies are a little bit disappointing from the ECM this week, but if the Azores High is getting more and more involved, I would expect those temperatures to lift up as July goes along. So it's going to be an interesting month. We're interested to see how it works out. And for more eastern and southeast parts of Europe, it looks like we start off very hot and then perhaps progresses something a little bit cooler and more unsettled as the month goes on. But it will be interesting to see how this July works out, because although there is an increasing signs of influence from the Azores High, the northwest of Europe, temperatures do look a little bit on the lowly side, really. So could we have our first cooler than average month of the year in the UK? It will be interesting to see. If the Azores High starts taking over, I would suspect it will turn into quite a warmish month in the end, but time will tell. We shall see. Okay, so that's the ECMWF 30-day look done and dusted for you. We're going to be back with your 10 to 14 day video update, including all of the regular features later on this afternoon. Don't forget to check out the first season model roundup for the autumn of 2020. That will place on the autumn updates page tonight with written summary. And in tomorrow's live stream at 6 o'clock, we will go further out with the ECMWF long range model and look at weeks 5 and 6 temperature precipitation anomalies. They will take us into August. That'll be in the live stream tomorrow. Okay, for this video though, that's all for now. Thanks for watching.